Hey everybody, it's Jimmy from the DIY and Digital Railroad, and this is part 2 of my 2-part operating series. In the first part, I showed you how to use Google Sheets to set up your operating session to tell you where cars should go and where trains should go. So in part 2, we're going to show you how that actually operates on my railroad. That all begins with looking at the sheets and seeing where cars go. So then you'll go and you'll place the cars by hands where they need to go, whether it's the industries or if it's in staging areas for trains. So this is where the majority of the action is going to happen. We have 4 industries here. We have the Gaston Freight House, Cramerton Team Track, Beal Manufacturing, and Cemex. This is where the majority of the traffic will be coming from. Also in Kings Mountain, we have a few pickups at the 84 Lumber Warehouse. So we're going to start off with the Spartanburg Manifest. That is the first train that goes through the layout. It is a mainline engine traveling between Spartanburg and Charlotte. If you are running this with a fast clock, this train starts around 4 a.m. Now this train also travels through Gastonia before finally exiting the layout into Charlotte staging. The next train is the Gastonia Local. Now this time it doesn't have any cars to drop off. It's doing nothing but pickups and transfers. Once the train arrives in Gastonia, it begins its switching operations. Today it's got pickups at the Gaston Freight House, the Cramerton Team Track, along with pickups at Beal Manufacturing and Cemex. The train arrives at Cramerton Team Track first. The Gastonia Local has to pick up 2 reefer cars that need to go back to the Charlotte yard. The train then runs it back to the area around Gaston Freight. There's a siding that it uses for building its train back. This holds a maximum of about 7 or 8 cars. Once this is complete, the local train begins switching at Gaston Freight House. Now here we have 4 cars at the Freight House. Only 2 of them need to go to Charlotte, while the other 2 are being transferred to Beal Manufacturing. The tricky thing about this is that the front car and the rear car are the ones that need to go back to Charlotte, and the middle 2 are the ones that need to go to Beal Manufacturing. The train begins by picking up all 4 cars. Then, using the first 3 cars as a handle, it places the 4th boxcar on the siding to go back to Charlotte. It then returns the 2 cars that need to go to Beal Manufacturing back to the spot in front of the freight house. The train then takes the final boxcar that needs to go back to Charlotte and places it on the Charlotte train. Now that that move is complete, the train needs to pick up the 2 cars that need to go to Beal Manufacturing. The train now has to perform a runaround move to be in the proper position to switch Beal Manufacturing and Cemex. The train hooks up, and then it's off to Beal Manufacturing and Cemex. The train is now arriving in the area around Beal Manufacturing and Cemex. You can see that it is a single siding that splits off in a Y. The train has to pick up the boxcar that's sitting at Beal Manufacturing, along with the 2 cement hoppers that are sitting at Cemex. The train is going to once again use these 2 cars as a handle to pick up the boxcar. Once the boxcar is attached, the train pulls back out. For quick storage, the train then puts the boxcar on the Cemex siding so that it does not foul the main line. The train can now place the 2 cars at Beal Manufacturing. Now that the move to Beal Manufacturing is complete, the train can switch over to the Cemex move. The train heads onto the Cemex siding, hooking onto the boxcar it had dropped there before. It then uses the boxcar as a handle to pick up the Cemex cars. The train then takes these back to the area around Gaston Freight House. Once the train has arrived at Gaston Freight House, it needs to do another runaround move so that it can place the cars on the train for the return trip to Charlotte. Once the train has completed this move, it can make its run up to Kings Mountain to pick up the transfers from the 84 Lumber warehouse. The main line is clear, and the Gaston local can now head to Kings Mountain. Once in Kings Mountain, the train has to stop at the 84 Lumber warehouse to pick up these two boxcars. This is a simple move, so long as you're in the right position. The train backs in. The only complicated thing is there's not much track past the warehouse, so the train engineer has to be very careful when he's backing in not to derail the cars off the end. Once the train's been picked up, they've been cleared to go back on the main. The train then heads back down into Gastonia. Once the train has arrived at Gastonia, it has to do a quick runaround move to put the two boxcars at the Gaston Freight House. Making sure to park the cars at the loading area, the train then disconnects and hooks up to the Charlotte train. The train pulls these off the siding and then proceeds to do a runaround move to get in the proper position to take these cars back to Charlotte. The train then runs these back into Charlotte staging. This is the final step of the operation, running the Charlotte Manifest. Today's Charlotte Manifest has 9 cars on it. I usually run the train around the layout a few times to add mileage to the run and because I enjoy rail fanning my model railroad, until I finally pull it off into Spartanburg staging. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to keep up with all the videos I'm going to be posting. There is a lot to come. For now, I'm Jimmy with the DIY and Digital, and keep railroading.